Thursday morning, and still no resolution in the Major League Baseball lockout. And here's what we know so far. There is no deal on the table. We know the first week of the baseball season, the first two series, has already been canceled. So we're already down to about 155 games. And really, guys, there's no end in sight. Like, there's no, at least, hey, they're at the table and they're getting close. We thought they were getting close, and now it's like going back to square one. So we have no idea when spring training will start, and we have no idea when the regular season will start.
By watching Manfred, the commissioner's reaction and laughing and chuckling about it, it appears to me that they kind of want to shorten this season a little bit. That's the way I see it. It seems like maybe the owners want to get a little over on the players, shorten the season a little bit. They won't get as much money. He seemed very happy about saying, yeah, we're canceling the first couple games. They showed him practicing his golf swing before that. I'm just like, what's going on here? They're doing this on purpose, I think.
As a non-baseball guy, it is weird to hear baseball fans freaking out. I mean, the season is, 162 games long or whatever, and they're talking about just shorting down to like 155, and people are freaking out.
Well, they think that
I don't understand why that's a big deal.
It's because they feel like this is just the start. Like right now, it's only, the first couple series or whatever, but they're afraid they're going to just keep canceling and canceling and canceling.
That's fine.
I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think they already have a number in their head where they're going to be like, let's play 100-game season or something like that.
Let's also file down the number of innings in a game while we're doing this too. Let's shorten down the game itself.
7 innings.
No, you guys make all a bunch of great points because, yeah, maybe the owners are holding out. Patrick, you might be right. Maybe that number is 100 or 120 or whatever that number is. They'll be like, okay, we're going to wait a couple more weeks, and then we're going to go back to the table, and then we'll get serious. We're going to make a deal happen, but there's no rush. And Rob Manfred, the Major League Baseball commissioner, kind of jovial and nonchalant about everything. Listen, Roger Goodell gets booed everywhere he goes, but Rob Manfred is now a very close second. Man, baseball fans do not like this guy at this point.
Very hard to take him seriously. That's why he's laughing and whatever. I'm like, dude, I don't get it. There's no urgency here. They're doing this on purpose.
Yeah, and here, I remember us talking about when right after the end of last baseball season, it was, November, we're like, oh, they got plenty of time. Like, they're going to figure this out. They got like 4 months. And here we are, the first week of March, and they still are basically where they were back in November. There's no end in sight. So if you're a baseball fan, that's bad news, unless you're down with the Sixers or the Quakes or the Storm, because, again, here's your quick minor league baseball plug that they will start on April 8th. There will be minor league baseball in the Inland Empire if you're a baseball fan, so go check them out.
I love that part. That part I love about this. I'm glad it's not affecting everyone underneath the millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah, so there will be baseball, just not at the major league level right now. They're still working on that deal. If you're an NFL fan, yes, there is NFL stuff going on. We got the Combine taking place in Indianapolis, where all the top college, prospects go there. So at the Combine, quick shout out to a couple of our local guys real quick. Drake Jackson, Centennial High School linebacker for USC. Khalil Shakir, wide receiver from Vista Marietta, Boise State. And running back Tyler Algier from Kaiser High School and BYU. In fact, he was one of the top running backs in the entire country. They are all in Indianapolis at the Combine. It should be pretty high picks.
I love it when you see the IE kids out there. It's so cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, non-football fans, you can just skip the Combine, but football fans, it is something for them to cling on to, watching these guys at least run 40s, catch some balls, throw some balls. It's at least something.
Yeah, I want to see those IE boys, and then I also want to see, the one wide receiver or the running back who's going to run the sub 4.2. There's something about watching that.
And this brings up the great debate, is it better to just have real good film, like real good tape of having, 2 or 3 great years in college with, helmets and pads and playing in real games? Or is it, like you just mentioned, a running back running a sub 4.2, or, your vertical is, 48 inches, like all those measurables, are those more important than actually making a tackle or catching a ball in between 2 defenders? Like, what's more important?
Bill Parcells used to say, you could jump out of the gym, it means nothing.
That's exactly what the current Super Bowl champion Rams are saying, because they're like, screw the draft. We don't care.
Right.
They want 0 draft picks. They want proven NFL commodities, and they're the reigning champs.
Exactly.
They might have something.
Yeah.
The Rams are onto something. It worked for them, right? They went out and got some guys who are more seasoned in the league. And this this class coming out, there's not a lot of great quarterbacks, which segues in the next thing I wanted to mention was, all these quarterbacks even Tom Brady at this point, because we're just not sure, but Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, all these big name quarterbacks who could be on the move. I think it has to do again with this quarterback class coming through the NFL Combine and getting ready for the draft, that there's not a lot of big time college quarterbacks coming up right now. So the other NFL teams are looking around saying, is Aaron Rodgers really going to be on the move? Could Russell Wilson leave Seattle? I think that's why there's a lot of this conversation still, because there's not big names, at least at the quarterback position, coming up in the NFL draft this year.
You're right, which means teams have to search elsewhere, like within the league, to find their cue.
But also go with me on this. In all these other years where we do have these big name quarterbacks come out, and there's a lot of hype around a lot of these guys, they don't always pan out. So we could have a year where we're like, okay, there's not a lot of big name quarterbacks, but maybe there is a guy or two who could change a lot of things for a team that needs a quarterback.
That should be said. Rarely do they work out.
Right. So, it could easily go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Well, look at Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, man. He was supposed to be like the next Tom Brady, right? Well, Jacksonville was a disaster last year, and I know they're in a whole rebuild mode, new coach and everything like that, but he was the number 1 overall pick. He was supposed to be the savior, and it just did not work out, at least in the first year. Maybe things will turn around in year number 2, but, man, it was bad for the Jaguars.
The year they did Goff and Wentz, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Neither one of those guys. They're both looking like huge busts right about now.
Very true.
No, you're exactly. So that's why, again, if there's a Russell Wilson out there or, somebody like that who's proven he's a winner and he can lead a team to a Super Bowl, go get him.
You're right. Sidebar here. Speaking of Carson Wentz, I've heard even reports that he could be traded.
Yeah.
So there will be major movement with the QBs. It'll be exciting to see what happens here. And partially with the draft not being loaded with QBs, it will be the little chess movement within the league. We'll see what happens here. Anything could happen, I believe, because they're desperate.
Yeah, anything can happen. I'm a 49ers guy. Now there's talk about Tom Brady. Could he go to the 49ers? Now he's still officially retired. He's retired, but he said in another podcast, I think it was actually yesterday, that he's going to go hang out with his family in the Bay Area, do some golfing, and then after that, he's going to kind of clear his mind and figure out what's next. So people are like, what's next? What do you mean? Are you coming back to football? What team are you coming back? Or maybe what's next is he's going to have a sandwich for lunch tomorrow, and he's going to do more golfing, but now in Florida. What does that mean?
And then did you see the Bruce Arians report that said, hey, it's going to take a lot to trade for Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he's retired. What's going on here?
Yeah, why would you trade for a retired guy?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
People might trade for Deshaun Watson, who might be in prison. Why not? Everything's tradable.
Yeah.
Oh,
half the team.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I know he announced his retirement, but nobody believes him,
Right.
So he's another one of those quarterbacks out there. And finally, guys, in the NBA big game tonight, it's almost like a playoff game for the Lakers. Lakers taking on the Clippers. The Clippers have won 6 consecutive games against the Lakers, but the Lakers are fading. We talked about being one of the top 6 teams to make the playoffs. They're out of that. Now they're just trying to hold on to a spot in the play-in tournament. That's the 7, 8, 9, 10 teams in the Western Conference, and the Lakers are slipping out of that as well. The last couple of games of the season, these are playoff games for the Lakers, and even if they do get into the play-in tournament, realistically, how far are these guys going to go?
Not far.
It doesn't look too good. Like we were saying, this is about the time of year where if you're going to get that playoff run ready, you start to kind of turn it on right now. They're not doing that.
I know this always sounds crazy, but is AD even close to getting back to the floor?
Yeah.
Would it make a difference if he got there?
If he were healthy, yes, because he can help LeBron when he wants to play. But if he's not going to be healthy, there's no way.
Right.
And and I'm not trying to be over dramatic here, but they brought in Anthony Davis as the heir to LeBron James, right? LeBron can't play for forever. And they thought, okay, when LeBron finally retires, he steps away, Anthony Davis will still be in his prime. He will be our big superstar. We'll build around him for the future. How do you build around this guy? He's hurt all the time. Russell Westbrook didn't work out. There's reports now that they're going to part ways in the offseason. I feel like the Lakers are at a real crossroads coming up.
I think they are.
Yeah, I think they even said kind of too at the trade deadline. They looked at getting rid of him at that point, but there just wasn't really anything better out there. So they figured, we made our bet with this. We got to kind of stick with it.
Well, I think the Clippers will take them tonight. What do you guys think? Sounds like it.
I think so, man. The Clippers are gritty. I'll give them that. And they've been without Kawhi Leonard. Paul George has been hurt, but they're finding ways to still win games here and there. They're a gritty bunch, man. I think they win tonight.
All right. You heard it straight from our guy, Pep. Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Hey, you can hear it straight from me all over social media, Inland Sports, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the Inland Sports YouTube channel. That is Inland_Sports.
Thanks, Pep.